poopy fart or whatever for the next week or two?
My guess, if I had to guess, is a good storyline is him winning the belt at WrestleMania and then having a short run of evil John Cena reign of terror on the company until he has a change of heart, and then because he's supposed to, like, this is his last year. That was the whole thing. So he's going to spend half of it as a bad guy, and then I'm assuming the second half of it as a redemption arc.
I mean, you might as well, if you're going to be somebody who's been that long in the company and you never got to be the villain, you might as well get one villain in on your way out.
You got to do the Hulk Hogan thing at least once, but not ruin it like Hulk Hogan did.
And on that note, welcome everybody to the SideQuest, your weekly journey into the wonderful world of video games, video game culture, and apparently John Cena. I am one of your lovely hosts, Dolly Demosky. Joining me over my, I guess below my.
You'll get there.
In my junk. If I stand like, hold on, let me stand like this.
Absolutely great.
The cat is
Sam as we speak.
Teabagging Sam. Hello, Sam.
Hello, friends. It's been a couple weeks now.
Yeah.
You know, I like to check in at least once or twice a quarter, make sure that the stocks are being stocked and the dividends are being dividend.
Yeah. There you go. Also joining me, I'm gonna brush my dandruff. I don't have any dandruff, but the guy right there, the one, the only, JJ.
Yeah. You were doing the John Cena 5-knuckle shuffle.
Yeah, it's true.
It's so funny that he got away with that move for like 25 years. The 5-knuckle shuffle, just children yelling 5-knuckle shuffle on the schoolyard.
Oh, it's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. But we were just talking about John Cena as one would. On a lovely Monday evening,
pissing off the fans in Germany.
And we've got some fun, just kind of a fun, laid back night. A lot of craziness over the last few weeks, gaming wise, and we'll get into some of that here shortly.
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, no, not a ton of stuff, but there are a couple things that I think that maybe JJ was definitely hyped up about some of this stuff, which I'll show you in a minute. But just want to make sure you guys have it been okay. You guys have been all right this the last few days. JJ, you were on the last episode? I can't remember anymore.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, that's right, because you were talking about my Carmen Sandiego review.
Yeah, the Carmen Sandiego thing, and I didn't have anything for review. I just talked about WWE.
Yeah, and that's totally cool.
Page 25.
I do want to bring up, once again, you can find us SideQuesting.com, SideQuesting TV on YouTube and Twitch, SideQuesting Discord through SideQuesting.com, and over on Blue Sky, we are SideQuesting.com. Want to give a nice big shout out to the executives over on our Patreon, Tom Johnson and Punctified. They are our executive tier. Make sure you follow them wherever, from the shadows into the shadows. I don't even know. And then thank you to our producers, the one, the only, Stefan Swanland, Zero the Prototype, Exaginous, and Jeff Grubb. Y'all are wonderful. Thank you for helping SideQuesting somehow survive in this wonderful world of
against all odds,
all the prices going up. One of the last few bastions of video game hope, which is actually pretty funny because we got I can now confirm that we have been confirmed to be attending Summer Game Fest again, which is pretty awesome. The interesting thing about Summer Game Fest is that it's exclusive, right? There, the play days, all those. There's only a specific amount of media and influencers and all that kind of stuff that get really more focused on media that get to go there. We went last year. We kind of we were able to kind of briefly make it in last year for our first time.
Just keep in mind, Dally means the royal we, because it was not anyone but.
Yeah, no, but I bring the royal we, but because all the stuff spills over into the rest of the team. I mean, we had some great acts last year. I think we got to try out, got to see Monster Hunter. We got to try out Kunitsugami, a bunch of other games, and all those translated into like reviews and interviews and previews and all kinds of stuff that everybody else had a chance to try. So that was always really cool. We get to chat with the developers and stuff, and we're gonna be back.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy that SGF really did lead to like Capcom for us.
yeah, it's totally true. Yep, Capcom now is like our best friend, which is great. So Dr. Capcom, is that who it is, Dr. Capcom? But
what
no,
does Capcom stand for? I always forget. The computer. Like I forget what Capcom.
Yeah, it's like Capsule Computer.
Capsule Company, yeah.
Capsule
like
Company. It's not Captain Commando.
Yeah, maybe Capsule Computers. Yeah,
maybe it's the Capsule Computers. But no, so yeah, we'll be back there. We'll be at PAX East. We have to do a little bit of kind of re-scoping of a couple things because the PAX East form that they had us submit didn't have spots for 7 people, only had spots for 6 people for the panel, which meant that the only other person that had a media badge confirmed besides me was JJ. So now JJ is technically not on the panel form per se. He'll still be at the panel. He just may not have his name on the one little thing. But I'll still try to get it, but we'll see. But yeah, 7 of us will be there. Sam, you'll be there.
Yes, attending once again, ready to gaslight the industry into something else again this year.
And our topic is the Furious 7 out of 10. So, but this time we're going to look at like AA mid-tier type games and how those, because that whole spectrum of gaming has disappeared, right? It's either the highest of the AAAs or, indies, and the mid-tier, there's not that many left. There's only a few companies out there. You have like your Sandboxes and THQ-ish, and that's kind of it, whatever THQ Nordic is these days. So
yeah, whatever they are, it's right.
Whatever the other days. So it'll be a fun one. I'm just giving a heads up. We're going to have giveaways, confirmed giveaways, and surprises. I got some kind of fun stuff that even this staff does not know. We have a great cast. It'll be us 3 here, Taylor Bliss, Tom Johnson, Sarah LaBouffe, and joining us for the first time this year is Virender Singh Jabal. You remember him from the Monster Hunter episode and from the podcast a few weeks back with Taylor. So awesome group of folks. So we will see you. I think we're doing it on May 8th at 3:30 in Bumblebee.
It's like day 1, right?
Yeah, day 1, which is great. Like after you've had like your fill of the day, then you can come hang out with us for a little bit and get some pretty cool, maybe some cool swag, or at least tell us how horrible how horrible our decisions are. Which really, what I love every year is just the amount of groans we get.
Yeah.
Whenever someone mentions something. I've got to see. I don't know if we recorded last year. We may not have. I may have recorded the audio of it. I'm not sure, but yeah, it was great. It was definitely a great time, and we'll for sure
we
do
had
it.
Sam attempt to record it, but we are
woefully,
prepared for all of this.
I believe Tom's camera overheated at some point.
That's what it was. Yeah, because Tom was recording it, and he's had it all set up, he's ready to go, and it's all whoops. Yeah. So, anywho, let's get into a little bit of the news, and there has been a couple little news bites that I wanted to get into. You guys like spooky stuff, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Spooky.
Well, I know JJ definitely liked spooky stuff. Hey, JJ, what was the tagline for WWF when they were switching to WWE?
Get the F out.
Get the F out. Unless it's in Silent Hill, then you put the F in because Silent Hill Silent Hill Elf would be freaking amazing. I
just need to actually, it's Silent Hill Forte.
So is it really Silent Hill Forte?
Yeah, it's Silent F. It's like the musical annotation of Forte. It's Silent
okay. I get it. Let me share this tab instead, and I'll just kind of play this trailer over and over again. Well, no, the new Silent Hill game has been revealed. Why is it not playing? I don't know why. There we go.
Hit play. There you go.
The next Silent Hill game, which we knew about, has now formally been kind of showcased in all its glory. The F does not stand for friendly, as I was making. But So it stars a teenager named Shimizu Hinako, and she's got to navigate her hometown. I think it's like Ebisugaoka. But the cool thing is, it takes place in like 1960s Japan, and there's a strange fog because Silent Hill.
So cool.
Strange fog, but it looks really cool.
Cool idea because because Silent Hill is always Western. Like
yes,
even though it's made by Japan, it's always like American inspired horror. So it's cool to like let's make because Japanese horror is sick. Like some of the best horror movies ever made are like Japanese horror movies, you know, like Pulse or whatever. But and who they have sort of behind writing this is like an icon in a very particular subset of video game freak show stuff of Ryukishi 07. He did the Higurashi When They Cry. Like it's one of those things where it's like the script of those is like, you know, 2,000 pages for just like a chapter, you know. Like,
no, and it's cool. Like I love the little tagline they have, which are like one of the little descriptions they had on the YouTube video and on the PR, which basically said this game contains depictions of gender discrimination, child abuse, bullying, drug-induced hallucinations, torture, and graphic violence. So it's a totally wholesome, like I said, friendly. It stands for friendly in a way, but yeah, God, it looks cool.
Shit's gonna be wild. I've been waiting for this since they announced it, and they have. After they announced it, they never mentioned anything again.
Right?
Obviously, because I'm assuming they just wanted to get 2 out there before.
Which 2 ended up being terrific. Like people
2 ended up being
love
terrific, and that little live streaming, like interactive YouTube thing was like a disaster that nobody liked. So
1 for 2 so far. So it's a 2 for 3. It looks really good. I love this setting. I love the you put a youngster in these things, and it like ratchets up the terror even more.
That Fatal Frame thing going.
Yeah, it does. It does. But yeah,
and it looks gory.
Totally.
Like the end of the trailer has like her face peeling off. It's really cool.
And I can't tell if those are I can't tell if those are flowers or blood or a little both. But yeah, it looks great. It's something because they didn't mention a release date, but pre-orders are up everywhere, and so it's gonna be this year.
Yeah, it's this year for sure.
It's this year for sure. So, but good. Yeah, Silent Hill F.
I would say have to wait for the Switch 2 announcement before they announce.
Yeah,
I would not be surprised. So there is, weirdly enough, there was.
Love this scene.
Yeah, that's cool. There was some Switch 2 stuff, but I didn't really post it. Yeah, there it is. Peeling off. But I didn't post any of it. But apparently, someone's been doing some data mining, and the Switch 2, like some person online, whatever, they've been doing some tracking around, and they're thinking the Switch 2 might actually launch May 15th. Like they had that date.
My birthday.
Is it your birthday?
May 14th, but still.
So it's not your So yeah, that could be cool.
Immediately after PAX.
Exactly. Literally 1 week after. So it's launching 1 week after our panel. So we can confirm at PAX that we're going to be giving away not a Switch 2, maybe some gum. I don't even know, but maybe games that play on the Switch 2. Who knows? But,
Switch 2 compatible game.
Switch 2 compatible games. But no, it's it's one of the rumors. But hey, you never know. I mean, it's supposedly April? No, like end of April is when, or mid-April, whenever is when.
It was early, wasn't it like early April?
I think it's the 2nd of April is when the game showcase.
Yeah, the showcase, and right after that is when they start the tour thingy.
Yeah.
And supposedly they're pumping out millions of these things. Like apparently there are just stockpiles of them already in the U.S.
Yeah.
So, which is
the largest launch of all time.
Yeah, that's right. The largest launch of all time. In Nintendo-ish related news, you guys still play Pokemon Go? Because you may want to maybe stop them pretty soon. Scopely has acquired Niantic in a deal worth $3.5 billion. So it also includes the Campfire and Wayfarer and
Niantic gathered all of your location data to sell to military assets, and now they've just pushed it all of the stuff to a predatory mobile game developer. So
what's real interesting is they were able to, speaking of military assets, they were able to track like terrorists because terrorists were playing Pokemon Go and like bases and stuff. And so the US was like, hey, there's some weird Pokemon Go spins happening over here. So let's just freaking just drop a bomb over there. But this is so Scopely is owned by the Saudi government. That's why we're bringing that up, because this wouldn't be a big issue for a lot of folks if the case was otherwise. But they're owned by the Saudi government. Obviously, there's been all kinds of issues with the things they've been purchasing and
also
all that kind of stuff.
Also, I played their shitty Monopoly game for like a week, and I saw ads more than I saw games. So
that is the biggest freaking mobile game on the planet is Monopoly Go. And so, well, now they have all the Go games under one banner. To think about it, and isn't Monster Hunter done by them too, by Niantic, or was? I don't even know.
What was that Saudi-owned game studio brand that was at PAX East last year?
Oh, the city, right?
It was started with a Q. I don't remember.
Kidia.
Yeah, I can't wait for them to have Pokemon Go stuff there.
There will be a whole Pokemon Go center in the gamer town that they're tech.
Now when you're sitting there ready to like stare into the portal to win a chair or something, you can also like get 15 free lures or whatever.
You can reach your hand out and spin it and get some eggs.
Well, they'll be back. Who knows? They haven't announced. They haven't announced their thing.
I hope they're back, man. I felt uncomfortable in that booth, and I want to re-experience it. Honestly.
Yep. We'll see. Other news. This one is a little bit interesting. We talked a little bit about this before, and I don't know if we talked about it on the pod or not, but I figure since Sam is here, we can talk about it again. The first portable Xbox could reportedly hit shelves this year. Maybe it just sounds like we've been talking about it on stuff.
We definitely talked about this for a very long time last week.
Okay. By the way, you can see all the stuff that I've been purchasing lately, all of the Detroit-based hats. All right, well, good. We talked about this. Sam, do you have anything you want to say about?
I mean, we were talking in the Discord, which you should join and become a member.
Smart. I like that. That's good.
Yeah. Ooh, it's cross promotion. But we were discussing about how the Steam Deck is a good device for people, and I think it's now reached a point where if somebody has a small Steam library or wants to get into PC gaming, I think you can go, hey, buy this Steam Deck. It will function primarily close to what you want a PC console to do. Like a Switch, if you have a Switch with maybe a couple minor tweaks, and you never have to touch the desktop side. If you want to start messing around with emulation, Linux games, any of that extra features and stuff, you're going to have to mess around with the desktop side. So you're going to have to, A, want to do that, and B, force that interaction, right? You can't kind of accidentally stumble across that and screw anything up anymore for Steam Deck. So I think it's a device that you can sell to people. But what's not is a lot of these other sort of Windows-based handhelds like the ROG Ally and all this stuff that's using either Windows or some other I don't want to say a bastardized version of some OS, but some skin over a other operating system. These ones aren't operating exactly how normal consumers would view them, right? So I think you can get them in the hands of somebody who's willing to tweak them, maybe plays with these Retroid devices and stuff like that, but not somebody whose only other interaction with consoles is maybe a Switch. And I just think we were talking about how all of the Windows-based platforms so far have had a lot of those growing pains where, yes, they might be at an iteration now where you can buy one off the shelf and update it and everything's working fine, but that is not the the main I mean, I guess, yeah, the like the way that these things are positioned, like these are positioned as laptops, but people are buying them and not understanding them or not utilizing them correctly, not understanding that you got to tweak individual games. Like this is stuff that the Steam Deck takes care of, and these like platforms take care of. So like if Xbox is going to release something, it has to be, if it's going to be Xbox branded, it has to be on par with something that a portable on TV and anywhere you want to go device, like people's expectation of that from a console manufacturer. And that right now is the Switch. Yeah. So if it doesn't function exactly how a Switch does out of the box, I just think it doesn't sell well, right? It becomes the same thing as like a Wii U, where is it an upgrade? Is it a side grade? Like, I didn't buy a Series X because I bought like, the handheld X, and now I can't even play like games up to a Series S level connected to my TV, but I can play them on the go. It's like it gets into this like whole gray area with them, that if it's not like, hey, this thing plays exactly how the Series S does on the go, and take it with you, and it's only meant really to be a portable one, but it can be your like secondary docked console at like your desk or something, right? Their messaging needs to be more than it's a portable Xbox, because you'll have people buying it as the quote unquote new Xbox, and then Timmy doesn't like it, and Karen's gonna be mad at the Walmart employee because the marketing for Xbox is bad. Like,
it is funny how everyone just kind of shies away from trying to do what the Switch is doing. Like,
right.
Being able to, like, oh yeah, no, you just get a dock and can play. It's like, a lot of these should, like, I think some of these would benefit goosing up the price maybe a little bit and including a dock of some sort in there. Just
or like a secondary controller, like not even for secondary players, but like, we're talking about the Steam Deck.
The Steam Deck should have a kickstand. I'm just saying.
Yeah, you plug that thing in, and then all of a sudden, I don't have a way to control it unless I have a mouse and keyboard attached or an Xbox controller that's extra. So I have to buy it additionally. Like the Switch detaches, but like something like this portable Xbox, is the belief, you'll already own an Xbox, so of course you'll have an Xbox controller. Or is this is your only console? So like when it gets docked, how do you control it? Like that's like, those are the type of things that I think like it's up to Microsoft to decide, and then make sure that the end consumer understands that. Because I see that scenario of somebody buying a portable Xbox and going, sick, I can't wait to plug this into the TV and get the family to help me set it up. And I've plugged it into the TV, and now I can't do jack shit with it because I don't have any way to interact with it.
I got two things I need to say right here. First and foremost, that tan and baby blue Pistons hat is sick.
Isn't it? Right? Fine. I'm looking at that one.
That's a big fan of that. And second of all, now hear me out. Varm chair with Steam Dock.
Yes. I mean, what's it called now? The Varm chair that they
I forget now, but we'll see it. It was at PAX West with its new branding.
I was going to say it'll be there.
Yep. By the way, the only issue with that Pistons hat is that it's a fitted hat, and I just can't stand. It's on sale, big time. Can't stand
that
fitted
one
hats
because it's not bad either. I like the
this one right here. Yeah,
that black one with like the stylized Detroit. That's actually pretty good.
Yep, that's cool too. Also fitted, unfortunately. I'm looking at
finally learned what my hat size
that's a snapback. That's a snapback.
I finally learned what my hat size was last year. As a grown man, that learned what my hat size was.
Yeah, I need to do
your headwear.
Yeah. Listen, I have probably 150 hats. So
really?
Yeah.
Okay, you blow me out of the water for sure. I have 15 maybe
I have
12.
My hallway closet is just the entire top shelf is just nothing but hats.
That's awesome.
I wear them all. They don't go to waste. I wear all of them.
Yeah. I've seen you. Yeah.
I receive a hat at work maybe once every 2 to 3 years, and
really?
I think I've worn. Well, we play. For those that don't know, my day job is in college sports, and the place that I work, we play at least one
Sam's a center. So he's a center and a power forward. Sometimes
we play at least one service members and first responders, like Gold Star family games where I work, and I end up getting at least one hat on that. So I mean, at least being respectful, like it usually has a gold star member that has lost their life in the service of America. So I try to do my due diligence and research those people. I'm not going to mention those people because I do not want to dox myself. But those are the only hats that I have in my office on display. And somebody's like, "Oh, everybody is always like, oh, you wear hats." And I'm like, absolutely never. Like, these are out of respect hats. My head cannot even fit in these hats if I try.
Mm-hmm. No longer in hats. Well, let me rephrase that. There is a hat in this image. Is a helmet. Yeah. Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion, the remake, is supposedly set for an imminent reveal and launch. It could be like next month. So supposedly a good old friend, I think it's Nate the Hate, chimes in again. The insider with the strong track record of accurate Microsoft leaks said they expect the official announcement either this month or next month on the game. And that game could very well launch the same month. It could be a drop too. Yes, it says likely sooner to the original June target.
Yeah, it's Oblivion. You don't need a whole lot of lead up to it. A shadow drop is perfectly acceptable. It's not like it's gonna do better numbers with a 4-month ad campaign.
This is them supposedly remaking it in Unreal, right?
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Thing. So my guess is that, Oblivion comes out in Unreal and then you just re-release Skyrim in Unreal because, like, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, the only reason it's Oblivion and not Skyrim is because Skyrim's come out on literally everything at least 2 times. So, like,
and they released an upgraded-ish version too for a while.
No, it'll be like Skyrim Ultra Enhanced Edition. Turbo. Rainbow.
It'll be on the Switch too, and you'll be able to shoot fireballs as Mario. Mario. Hey, whatever. I know this thing is, I think it initially leaked like last year or 2 years ago or 3 years ago or whatever. Seems like a no-brainer to remake this. They really should. I mean, I was gonna say they really should remake the other games. So many people missed the other Elder Scrolls games, like
the first two are just kind of like, it's like Fallout 1 and 2 and Grand Theft Auto 1
just
and 2.
Release a pack.
Sort of like old archaic games that just don't really exist in anyone's field of vision in any way, shape, or form. So
yeah, I was gonna say, I feel like Oblivion really was like a defining, like, quote unquote, like Xbox game.
Yeah, and let's be honest, it was sort of the coming out party for the Elder Scrolls, because even like Morrowind got the ball rolling, but Oblivion is where it was like, oh, this is a thing.
Well, it's also where, like, the Bethesda both joke and like love and praise, I feel like, really started to, like, show its forefront. Like, I mean, I didn't know much of like Bethesda's early stuff before Oblivion. I mean, sure, if you go back and look at it now. But yeah, that Xbox launch was, people that did not play like Dungeons and Dragons-esque games were playing Oblivion and Skyrim and stuff like that because of just how big of an Xbox title it was. So since Microsoft is now Daddy Microsoft to Bethesda, it makes complete sense that, like, hey, some of those games that everybody loved and was the defining of your studio and the reason we bought you, why don't we pump a couple of those out?
Was Oblivion, Dally, you would remember this, was Oblivion the game that Justin McElroy posted a video of him dancing with when it came out?
That was Skyrim.
Was that Skyrim? Okay, I can't remember if it was Oblivion or
Skyrim. Goodbye forever, suckers. Yeah. Remember that one. God bless him.
Wherever it
was 11. Yeah, right. He's all excited about that one. We got Skyward Sword that we bought. But no, what was the first one was Arena, and then Daggerfall, and then Morrowind. Like an Arena is, I'm staring at the Wikipedia just to jog my memory on some of this stuff, and Arena is known as Arena because it was initially meant to be a freaking like arena fighter. Become the grand champion, and then it went away from that because they realized, oh crap, we can't really figure out.
It was supposed to be very Ultima Online-y.
That was their a lot of their
Yeah, but they also
But-
did Wayne Gretzky hockey. I mean,
True. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, Wayne Gretzky. And I think they did like an NCAA basketball game. They were a
Yeah.
sports company, which is pretty well. But
Yeah.
hey, you know what? Sure. Bring out Oblivion. That way people don't know. That way people don't see Elder Scrolls 6 for you're not gonna see that for about 4 more years. Any update on that one. So
yeah, this is the
don't know.
Nintendo releasing like HD remasters of Zelda games while they wait.
Yeah, right. Yeah, hey, cool, fine. It'll sell a bunch. It'll be on all the platforms.
It's been a long time since Oblivion came out. Yes, you can still play it, but people aren't buying it. So trick them into buying it again, and they will buy it again, and it'll look better. It'll be more compatible on more devices.
And this time, horse armor will be totally fine.
Yeah, it'll be free.
It'll be a joke. It'll be included with a pre-order.
Yeah,
there you go. It'll be included with pre-order. Yeah.
God, that'd be so good.
Or you'll get it as a Game Pass subscriber.
Yeah,
because this is a Game Pass title. That's the other part that we haven't talked about. This is so clearly Game Pass fodder. It's like they're not even they might not even release this physically. It might just be a purely digital go pick it up thing. And I gotta think it's also multi-platform, right? Like this feels like something when they originally bought Bethesda was like, oh, it's a no-brainer. We're gonna release this only on Xbox as Game Pass. This is going to other consoles.
Yeah, I would hope so. I mean, it'd be so weird to just not with Oblivion in particular.
Sure,
I don't know, man. Just PlayStation 5, PC, and everyone will be happy. And then you don't have to put it on the Switch one. I don't.
Yeah, no, that's fine. We'll get the Switch 2 for sure. I mean, I just looking through that Wikipedia article while we were just chatting. God, there were so many freaking Elder Scrolls games. They made all those offshoots. They made
Java games.
There's there's travel Stormhold, and there's the portable game. It's pretty wild. Let's get some of those out, right? That'd be cool. But just give us a big package. Get digital Eclipse on them, and get these old originals.
An Elder Scrolls Gold Master series would actually.
Oh my god! Oh, dude, that would be sick.
Bring us more retro replay style collections for games that were made in the 90s and early 2000s.
Yep.
Yeah.
Don't improve
British
the graphics.
Games
absolutely. You want to give me the Master Chief collection or the original thing where I can hit a button where it changes between old graphics and new graphics? Go right ahead. But I want to see every single ugly smeary pixel that you got with that HDR filter, or not HDR, CRT filter or whatever you got working. Let me see it.
Definitely. Agreed. Well, let us see what you've been playing, because we're going to move into the games.
Actually, can I hijack for just a second?
Yeah.
Because I think we need to go before we go to games. We need to go to our side quest questions.
Oh, actually, good idea. I was actually going to bring that up. So we do have in the Patreon. You can ask us any questions you want to if you're in the Patreon aspect, and we do have a couple nice questions there. Let's go to the first one. Did we talk about maybe last week? I'm not sure.
We did the last week one where I said that it's not that Mario is just Mushroom Kingdom's just fucked up. Mario's normal. He doesn't have bad proportions. Just Mushroom Kingdom's huge.
And this week, Zero the prototype asks, do you want to read it?
I'll read it. Here we go. Berto was described by the U.S. instruction manual as a man who thinks he is a woman. Samus was originally male, but then the development team voted to change that, but to leave it in the manual to keep it a surprise for players. Obviously, these two games are connected in an interesting way. My question is Berto a Metroid? Is she going to become a Queen Metroid? If Berto created the egg that grew into the baby Metroid, do Samus and Berto have to go to court over custody? I think the true answer is no. Berto is a Ridley.
Berto is a Ridley. I like that.
I feel like if Berto had any sort of job, it would be to be a bounty hunter. Sorry, I kept Monster Hunter bounty hunter, and I could not think of what they were called. Yes, Space Pirates bounty hunters. I mean, she has that huge rock on her finger too. That doesn't come cheap. So I have to imagine working a pretty good day job and hunting people is usually I would assume pays pretty well.
Yeah, and Yoshi isn't bringing in the money, so yeah.
Correct.
No, absolutely not. That dude is disposable at best.
Yeah.
Disposable at best. I mean, is Birdo a Metro? Can Birdo crawl? I think that's really the question.
Yeah.
If Metroid can crawl and
Yeah.
Birdo can crawl. In reality, though, maybe the answer is just
You're just trying. You're really moving.
I'm really trying to get this stupid image up, but it's not open. Oh,
okay.
the wrong button.
I was going to say, if we really wanted to go back down the logic train, it's that Super Smash Brothers proved to us that Kirby is actually the strongest in all of Nintendo lore.
Yeah.
Correct.
So any discussion of what anybody else is irrelevant because Kirby could wipe them from the face of the earth.
Yeah.
Yep.
If they ever wanted to. So
imagine Kirby inhaling a Metroid and absorbing the Metroid's essence.
Kirby Birdo power is probably egg spitting, right? Like,
so
that's
wait
your
a minute.
answer.
Wait a minute. Could Birdo be Kirby swallowing Yoshi? Like the wrong way? Because Yoshi poops out eggs, and Yoshi's Birdo's a dinosaur. So it's 8 Yoshi backwards. So the butt was the long way.
The long way. Swallow Yoshi the long way.
I was going to say, I didn't know that Kirby had any other like entrance or exit other than one.
It is. You think about it, like, so first and foremost, do Yoshi and Birdo have cloacas? Is that what we're working with here?
God.
So it's the thing on her face, her cloaca? Is that what we've got going on? So does she also do other business through that?
See, but they could just be a storage and a launching vessel, because we didn't have much to go on in the was it Super Mario 3? She was in 2? 2. Yes, 2, yeah.
I mean, look, and like, I guess we don't know what the physiology of a Birdo is. We need some sort of diagram to really understand.
I like some confirmation of what her career choices have been.
We've just created a question for a question. The question is, does a Birdo happen when Kirby eats Yoshi the long way?
The long way. That's the name of the podcast.
Yeah, the long way. I like it. The long way. Gents, okay. Questions over. You two can ask a question in our Discord, because that is oops. I hit the wrong way.
I disappeared. Unbelievable.
We decided Birdo is the third guest.
Yeah, Birdo is the third act.
I got disappeared the long way.
In the SideQuest Discord by being a Patreon member. So thank you for being a Patreon member. Thank you to Zero the Prototype. You rock. And great, cool. Starbreeze, breaking news, Starbreeze is going through some reduction in staff, and Payday 3 might be in trouble. Our good friend Jake posted the news bite.
Payday 3 was already in trouble. What do you mean might be in trouble?
Yeah, what do you mean might be in trouble?
It launched in trouble.
Games that did not launch in trouble are games that you guys have been playing. And Sam, since you are this week's special guest, you've been playing a game that that our own wonderful freaking JJ has also been playing, and that would be Avowed.
Yes, we were talking of such semi-open world RPGs earlier, and somebody who's worked on actually not the Elder Scrolls at all, have they? For Bethesda and another series, making an Elder Scrolls-esque game in the Pillars of Eternity universe. Hey, Obsidian's making Avowed. I want to start off by saying that I don't often play this style of game. I do not like Skyrim. I do not like Oblivion. It is like a well-known fact. I also do not like the Fallout games that much. I think I've been quoted the best way to experience Fallout is to watch the Amazon television show. And I also have heard nice things about Amazon Shelter, which I don't know you can still play. Amazon shelter. Nope. Fallout shelter.
Yeah,
I don't know why I say it, Amazon shelter.
because Fallout is on Amazon. That's why.
Yes, thank you. And now we're not talking about any of those, and we're talking about Avowed, which is also now owned by Microsoft. And this is a very fun game. I said semi-open world because it is like you can choose what missions and stuff you take on, but it is less open world than I think those other games are perceived to be.
Yeah, it really pushes you into certain directions hard.
Yes, it's certainly like it's more of like a gated world, I would say, where it's like subzones, right? It's like you get to an area, you level up, you complete quests there, and then you move on to the other zone. Yes, you can kind of go back, but I don't know that there's really any good reason to, unless there was really a storyline or a quest you're like, oh, I should finish that, and you didn't go back and complete it. I guess some of the bounties you could finish off and get money or something, but anyways, it certainly doesn't railroad you in a direction, but it certainly heavily suggests where you should be going next. And it does a really sort of smart thing with this sort of quest system in the game with skulls to kind of show you like, hey, like the main story quests like might be a little bit difficult right now. Maybe you fill in some of these other side quests that only have one skull or no skulls before you go and tackle the main quest that has like 2 or 3 on it. And it kind of streamlines a lot of, I think, what bogs down some of those other more heavy role-playing games. So crafting is in this game, but everything's basically broken down to about 6 core components of like, this is leather, and then all the way that it progresses up. This is iron, and all the way it progresses up. So it makes being able to take like an item that you find from minute 5 of the game, if you wanted to, and take it all the way with you to the end game. And it sort of eliminates the idea of like, oh, this random piece of loot that I found on the ground might have the coolest stats, so I should instantly put this on and forget any other garbage that I pick up. A lot of bosses and sort of like heavier interactions that you deal with important characters always come with some form of like, let's say, named loot. They might use the term legendary or something like that, but those are always like pretty much guaranteed to be the best stuff that you're looking for. So if you find like, you had a fight with somebody and they had a 2-handed axe that you really like, you can take that 2-handed axe at any point in the game and just progress it up to your level wherever you're at. So you could put it in your storage, but then want to take it out 30 hours later and move it up to your level with like, bonuses and perks and be perfectly on par, ready for you to fight and stuff like that. So if you're somebody that like really likes a certain build and wants to stay committed to the whole game, it allows you to do that. But then at the same time, you're finding these unique items and constantly sort of like building out like what you want as a character. I'm also pretty famously upset at those games that they never let you build a good ranger build. And this game, for the first time, I think allows me to build a ranger that I don't feel completely useless as. And that starts with not even giving you the option to have a pet until probably about level 15. Which is like ranger shit is usually dependent on having a pet to tank everything for you. But the game just allows you to customize your builds, plus gives you the option of taking these sort of godlike powers that you get throughout the game to sort of counteract these, sort of deficiencies that would otherwise be in these like this action-oriented game. For these sort of maybe less or action-oriented archetypes that you would play as a character. I think it also does an incredible job with the interactions. I am playing a character, I can't think what their like basis is, but basically they talk to spirits and stuff. And I've just been playing that anytime I get a crazy option to say something insane to somebody, I'm
really
taking
out
it.
of pocket nonsense.
And like sometimes the interactions with people are okay. And sometimes people freak out with the things you say. More than once, I've said something to somebody not thinking that it would cause a fight, and instantly I'm fighting, and I'm like, well, that was an interesting take. And then I don't know, it's been very good of like, and you know, everybody's gonna have this association with their favorite of the style of like narrative games where you have choices. But there was at least one interaction in this game where my wife was sitting next to me, and I said to her, like, if this game doesn't give me the option to murder this girl at the end of this conversation, like, we're going to have problems. Like, I will stop playing this game. And almost from like moment one of like my conversation, it was like, I don't care what you have to say, like, let's fight, right? And I was like, well, let's hear her out at least, right? And she gave me all this information, and I was like, cool. And then it's like the choice was either like, you know, thank you for telling me this, or like, I still think what you've done was wrong, or like, you will pay for your sins. And I was like, oh, you will pay for your sins. And it's been like, you know, I feel like whenever I've wanted the option to do something, the game has been very good about giving me that option.
Sure.
So, you know, I think it's been very good in that way. And I also think combat in terms of just the sort of real-time action, dodging, parrying, casting, all that stuff. I think it has one of the most useful radial menus I've ever used in a game.
Right?
It like basically allows you to choose any of your spells, any of your companion spells, then has a sub menu for any of your consumables, and then has another sub menu for any of your throwables. So like, you know, you got a grenade, you got an ice spell, you got a whatever, all right there and selectable. And then it also, your consumables are broken up by like, this just gives you food and or like gives you health. This gives you essence, which is their mana. This gives you like specific buffs, even food that gives you like access in the radial menu to food that's like ups your intellect and stuff like that if you've cooked it and stuff. So it's just, it makes it so convenient to be like, oh, I'm about to talk to somebody that's probably pretty important. Like, let me make my intellect higher real quick. And also my perception. So maybe I might be able to like weasel my way out of fighting them and be able to, you know, charm them a little bit into giving me what I want without having to kill people. So this is, you know, I'm saying all this, this is all stuff that I think is normally in these types of games. I just think it does it very well, while also dialogue wise being pretty funny. And also being good to look at. Like, it's not brown. You like, you might be noticing in the trailer we're watching, like there's more colors than just brown or green.
Beautiful
it's very like, it's very like a borealis like coloring and like a luminescence and stuff like that. Like just very pretty looking. And you know, the ugly things are ugly, the pretty things are pretty. Like it does a very good job of making distinctions between like, you know, this is what is wrong and corrupt with the world, and this is what's like flourishing and just being like, you know, what is a thriving ecosystem.
Sure.
I do gotta say that there's like a level of whimsy to this game that's sort of missing from a lot of these without being comedy necessarily. Like there's sort of a lighthearted, even to the combat can be, there's like just a level of like, whimsy is the only word I can think of with it. It's just like, there's jokes and there's stuff. It's not hard fantasy, but it's also not like it's written by Joss Whedon or something either. But
it feels a lot like, you know, these are like characters that are in a D&D campaign, and they're kind of hanging out and like learning about each other and the world together, instead of being like, you know, it's like, my father bore secrets in this land that, that only I can defend and stuff. And it's like, all right, buddy, like, I get it. It's like, you're a dude from a town to me. Like, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, they're playing they're D&D tropes, but like the archetypes, but with a human heart behind them, as opposed to just what the book says. So and you know what? It lets me hold a spell book in one hand and a gun in the other, and I love it.
That's always a positive,
Well, and allows you to like switch between, so you're not stuck being just like, oh, I'm only ranged, and there's a guy right in my face.
They
like,
let you
I'm in
do,
trouble.
they let you switch between loadouts just like without, because you get like the two main loadouts, and it's just like push a button. There's the next one. Here you go.
Well, they do a great job of again streamlining like any of the extra like almost management stuff that comes with these games. You can be anywhere in the world. Oh, I'm overweight, sick. I'm gonna send half my inventory to the stash, and then I'll deal with it when I go to nighttime.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't find a crafting bench. You fast travel to like basically your save point.
Yeah.
Do all your
The Final
crafting.
Fantasy crystal in the middle of the town.
Yeah, do all your saving, do all your enchanting, your cooking and stuff like that. And then when you go to leave that area, it will ask you, hey, do you want to exit here? Or do you want to exit where you fast traveled from?
Yeah.
So like
It's
it
cool.
just kind of cuts all that like extra nonsense out. It also for accessibility options, you can turn on indicators that'll show you directly where the thing is, like, hey, like, this is the exact 15 feet that you got to explore to find this item, or this is exactly who you need to talk to. Or you can turn all that stuff off and it be like an old school RPG where you're running around town talking to everybody, being like, who has something for me? Like, I will say, since we've just been basically fluffing, the one thing that doesn't bother me, but I know bothers people with these style of games, is that the level of world interaction maybe isn't as high as what people are used to.
Yeah.
So when you go to a town, NPCs are at their locations. They're not like, running around town, and they don't have routines, or they're not doing sort of like that type of stuff, and you can't interact with them. So it's not like you can go into town and just start killing a bunch of people and like get the guards to come after you and stuff that people are used to in something like a Skyrim or Oblivion.
Yeah.
And for me, that doesn't matter, because I'm not the type of player that wants to go around and be like, I'm going to spend the next 20 minutes killing everybody in town and seeing how long I can last, right? Like, that's just not for me. If that's an availability and that's something you can do, cool, I guess. But like, it's not something that like I only noticed, or it was only pointed out to me from like an Instagram video. I saw like people negatively reacting to like, oh, bro doesn't even react when I shoot him in the mouth. And it's like, yeah, but why are you shooting like the like village like nurse in the mouth? Like, what did she do to you? Plus why?
It's the old, because like a lot of like PS1 era like racing games didn't really have a lot of damage to the cars. And it's like, well, technically you're not supposed to be smashing into each other like it's Demolition Derby thing.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's less of an issue than you're making it. Yes, it's nice, but
and I also understand some of the stuff, like, not everybody is as heavily as interactable as some of these things. You can't like, I can't actively pickpocket something. Like the idea of stealing something from a store, like you can walk into some of these stores that have like little trinkets and stuff and maybe like weak weapons on the wall, and you can just take them. Like there's nothing stopping you, because there's no sort of a theft system. Or like there'll be time where like a merchant will have a chest behind them and you can just walk take everything in the chest. Like, and like that type of stuff, granted, is like kind of silly, but that's like, that's whatever. But like, I don't need to feel like, oh, I'm a bad dude, so I can run into town and murder everybody in town and rob him blind and not have to pay a cent for it or whatever and have a wanted level. Like, I guess it's just not like the whole story of this game is like you are sent to this place to investigate this sort of plague that's started and is spreading around this island. So like, why would your intent be, oh, actually I'm here to murder everybody and I'm going to be the king of the island and I'm going to be the person on the island?
Because like the story's not going to adapt to that either. Like that's not the game that they were making. So like you're a dipshit destroying the town, and then 30 seconds later the cutscene is them like, oh, thank goodness you're here. The blight has taken over. It's like after you've just leveled the village, it's just
well, and I think there's some like misunderstanding of like, it's not that like they could have like built that sort of stuff into the game, but like that sort of like level of like jankiness that happens with like an Oblivion, or happens with a game where you can just take everybody's items, or you can like leave items sitting in piles and like hundreds and thousands of items, is like they just decided we're going to use those resources and stuff and divert them to other parts of the game instead of utilizing them. So you can find out that the dude in town who walks up and down the street every day has like 5 pieces of dried mackerel in his pocket. Like, dope. Does that make your gameplay experience any better than actually now you get to have like ray trace lighting or something like that? Which I also think you could argue like, well, that doesn't make your gameplay experience any better either. but that's the sort of expectation people have of like what is like a AAA game.
Yeah.
You know, no one's out here complaining that in Spider-Man I can't rob all the people blind like on the streets. Like I'm not like going into the subway and being like, give me all your pocket change. Like no one. And if people are complaining about that, everybody's going to call you nuts. But because I'm in
black suited
medieval
Spider-Man, I should be allowed to punch civilians in the face.
Yeah, like I'm Venom, so like I should be able to like rip people's flesh off. Like no, like what do you like? What? Like no, that's like not how that game works. And it's like, oh well, this is a made up character. This is a character I made up, not them. It's like, yeah, but you don't get to make up the character in the world unless they're like, here's this world. Like, so you play by our rules. Like, yeah, that type of stuff just like frustrates me. And it's like, maybe I can't have a homestead and get married and like have an offspring or whatever, you know, do all these types of other extra stuff. But that I don't want any of that. I think at this point, to be honest with you, I'm playing on hard because I heard that was just a more enjoyable way for the combat. And honestly, I think it is. It like makes you think and like basically strategize more. I've been calling it VATS, even though it's not VATS. That like basically that radial menu is just a great way to sort of like pause the action and like sort of contemplate your next couple moves. Yeah, it's almost like kind of like a Transistor if you ever played that. The Supergiants game. I just think it plays really well. And I'm going to be seeing it till the end. Cool. I am currently in the area with all the lava that we've been seeing in the trailer.
Yeah.
It's been great so far. I hope that I get to murder the person that I want to murder. And then I also
Bro, I'm right here. Relax.
I also hope I get some of the answers to the questions that sound like people were taking huge bong rips before they asked in the game. And I'm right there. I can't wait to hear it. I can't wait to hear their wisdom at the end. So
I love that. I love that character, man. I know what you're talking about.
There's so many characters in this game. Maybe we'll wait, but there's a like, let's say a drug deal later on in the game that happens. That is maybe the stupidest thing I've ever played in the game. And it's so wild that somebody came up with that idea. And I will we'll mention it after the show privately. But man, hysterical. Go play it. If you have Game Pass, you're doing yourself a disservice for not at least trying like the first like couple hours. Like I think you'll enjoy it.
I just resubbed to Game Pass Ultimate for this game and for Indie. So I'm gonna make one of the next. Let me rephrase it. I bought a Game Pass subscription. I haven't plugged the code in yet to activate it, just because I'm waiting to.
I know you got to get through Xenoblade Chronicles X.
I gotta get through Xenoblade, and then
I do want to mention this for all 15 of us that care too much about Digital Foundry and stuff like that. The 40 hertz mode or whatever it's doing on the graphics / like 120 hertz television mode works very well on Series X. And I'm comparing it to both a 1080 Ti on a computer and I think a 4060 on a laptop that I've run it on. And it looks great on the Series X. And the 4060, you certainly can boost higher frame rates, but like running that at that 40 frames mode on Series X is real nice.
I got it running pretty well on the Ally. Like, just in case anyone is curious about, because I obviously have the Ally, so I was like, I wonder how well it can run on this, because it seems like it's one of those games where it feels like, okay, we're kind of getting to the limit of the Steam Deck and the Ally and these kinds of computers, and like, yeah, you got to make some concessions, but like you can actually get it looking pretty okay, getting the frame. Like you're gonna if you're gonna have to just deal with 30 frames per second, but for me that's not an issue. But I know for some people it's an issue, but
It's so weird to talk about that stuff as somebody who like works with like tech and stuff. Like that stuff's important to me, but at the same time, like if the game is a good game, it could run like an N64 game in today's modern day as a new release. As long as the gameplay's incredible, I could care less.
Yeah. Excellent. Avowed. Avowed. Anything else you guys are playing?
Like I've pretty much the only video game I've really been playing is Pokemon Red and WWE 2K25.
Nice. Yeah,
video games.
You're John Cena.
There's another game I'm playing, but I need Zach here to talk about it.
Yeah,
it's his
sounds
fault
good.
that I'm playing it. So
yes, yeah, and I mean,
yeah. I bought that game too.
It's tickling that part of my brain
too. Totally. It is that Balatro tickle that we get,
It's the as you'll see here,
it's Balatro tickle.
It's got that Billionaire loop. That's just let's go, baby.
Baby.
Do you have a game? Do you want me to talk about a movie that I saw, or what do you want to do?
Well, Sam, did you have another game?
No, I mean, I was just gonna we certainly don't need to spend more airtime on Zenless, but I would love to mention that Zenless just got another great update for all those paying attention at home.
Sure.
Wow, the story of that game is good, and increasingly looks like it's building towards even more nonsense.
Sure.
And God, hopefully they add co-op play of some sort in the near future. And if you're big into military cloning stuff, that's what this storyline's about. So get in there.
Metal Gear.
Metal Gear. Exactly. I was gonna say, like, Shirley, like when we Shirley, my wife, for those that either haven't been with us at PAX or haven't I don't know, heard us talking about her before on the podcast. Go One Piece. And what's basically saying, as she's been watching me play this and playing it, she's like, have they designed a game that might as well just be called Sam the Video Game more than Zenless? And I was like, if they all they need to do is add a like racing feature, and like one of the characters like drives like, a Honda Civic or something, and then I'll see you guys forever. Like and now any device is just a Zenless device, and I don't play other games. So
I really hope they have the PAX set up this year for you, like they did at West.
My daughter's been into Genshin and Honkai Star Rail. So
listen,
she's in the MiHoYo.
If I had enough time to play Genshin and Honkai Star Rail, I would. That was the problem. I was playing Genshin and I was playing Honkai, and then I gave up Genshin because I was like, well, I can only play one. And it was Honkai for a while. And then Zenless came out, and Shirley was like, well, I'm going to keep playing Genshin. And I was like, I can't go back to either. Like, it's Zenless time, baby.
I've been to two conventions in the last couple of months, and the artist alleys are absolutely 100% dominated with Hoyoverse bullshit. It's just nothing but. Even the cosplay is like all this stuff. It's like it has consumed the culture in an insane way.
I'm a little worried, and I did see somebody else mentioning it in the sort of like fan space, is like Zenless has been out long enough now that I feel like we are catching up to what was their like sort of like when we created the game, like this was our outline. So like some of the newer characters that are coming out are sort of like less being like unique and sort of the Zenless style, and sort of rotating themselves a little bit into that like homogenous MiHoYo style looking characters. And I've just been like, no, you can't do that to me. Don't turn this into a MiHoYo game. I need it to be Zenless. I need it to be its own thing. I know it's
gonna start becoming fan service, like, and I mean that not in the schoolgirl panty flash sense, but the like they're gonna listen to the fans on what designs should look like soon, and that's where it's gonna start to really fall apart for you.
It's I mean, MiHoYo is not only working on those 3 games that they have, but there's been rumors for a long time that they've got a shooter in the works. I mean, there's also been talks of like a Smash style fighting game or some sort of like arena fighter. So like MiHoYo is certainly not sitting on their laurels. They cannot.
Sure.
They want to make sure that they're all 10 of like the top 10 of like the mobile like best of games every year for iOS, or they want to make sure they're all of the continued support games on the end of Jeff Keighley's award presentations every year. And man, I mean, they make a great argument for it. If you look at the iOS store right now, I got to think they occupy probably 2 or 3 of the top 15 slots.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
maybe one of them's not in the top 10, but is shortly thereafter. Like, and add a shooter, like add a shooter and a rhythm game. And I think they pretty much have cornered like the mobile / like console hybrid market.
Sam, JJ, you have something else to talk about.
Yeah, it's because I don't have anything. I just gotta say, as is well known, I'm an animation guy.
You're an animation.
Yeah, I'm. A lot of
This
people
whole time.
Yeah,
This whole time.
yeah. I'm completely, but I'm AI generated. That's the downfall. So that's why everyone hates me. No, I've always loved cartoons, and I love the artistry behind cartoons. I love the minds behind cartoons. I've always been. I mean, like, look, it's I had the Disney thing going for a while, which I will get back to. I've only got a handful of movies that I need to make shows about still, so I'll get back to those sooner or later. But when a new 2D animated film hits the screens, I got to go.
Sure.
And so we just got Porky Pig and Daffy Duck and The Day the Earth Blew Up just hit theaters this past weekend here, and it has its long storied history of it coming to theaters. This is a movie that was finished a bit ago, but Warner Brothers got a Warner Brothers and weren't going to release it, but then inevitably sold off the distribution rights to Ketchup Inc. So they finally got it out in the theaters this weekend. I think it made like 3 million this weekend, which for like an animated film with zero promotional budget,
right,
and the studio that created it completely abandoning it, pretty good, honestly. It's a 90-minute feature length, fully 2D animated Looney Tunes movie starring Porky Pig and Daffy Duck as sort of like.
Heard of them.
It features their origin story.
Wow. Okay.
And it's just a fun little disaster movie adventure.
It's a wild idea.
Yeah, and it's funny. It's clearly made by people that care about animation and the franchise and the characters. It doesn't really have any, like, there's no cameos in it or anything.
Okay.
It's got Porky Pig, Daffy Duck, and Petunia Pig, and then just like a cast of normal human characters throughout. Not real people, but still cartoons. There's no live action aspect to this at all,
awesome.
Which is the thing, because every Looney Tunes movie has been a hybrid movie. Yeah, this is the first time they've ever made a feature length in theaters Looney Tunes movie, just straight Looney Tunes movie. So that's cool, and it's great. It's genuinely, it's funny. It's actually it's pretty charming in its own little way. Daffy and Porky's relationship is really, really fun. The plot line is as silly as you would kind of expect it to be. They really play into the tropes of each character. They make Daffy Duck live up to his name and to be just the most unhinged character. I think a lot of people think of Daffy Duck as Donald Duck in a lot of ways.
In a way, right.
So they expect him to be sort of like a short-tempered, like jackass, but that's not really. Daffy Duck's just crazy and unpredictable, and is always going to mess something up, kind of thing, or cause chaos with Spoonie's like working with Bugs Bunny or whatever. So it's always kind of funny, but it's a great, it's a great cartoon. It's just genuinely a great cartoon. You don't
Cool.
get a lot of traditional animated anything anymore, let alone feature films.
Right.
It's on the verge of being a dead art. Like even television shows are 3D CG these days, which hurts a lot. There's something beautiful about what you can do with 2D animation with smear frames and rubber band or like rubber hose stuff and just kind of the silliness that doesn't translate the 3D as well. Everything has to be much more rigid because they have a skeleton in these things. Like you gotta kind of follow some law. You gotta follow a lot of laws. Yeah, but not when it's 2D. You can really just kind of really lean into the art aspect of it, and they do. There are times where the movie changes art styles a couple of times. At one point, the movie turns into a 10-minute Porky Pig Daffy Duck short. The aspect ratio changes to 4:3. It becomes a little washed out, and it plays like an old Looney Tunes short for a good 10 minutes, and it's relevant to the plot. They do a lot of fun stuff with the movie. So yeah, big fan. I think if it's something that you grew up on, like Looney Tunes and even Disney stuff in general, I think you owe it to yourself to check it when you can. I don't know, impossible to know what any of it how any of it shakes out in the future. I mean, they just removed all the Looney Tunes cartoons from Max. The weekend they released this movie, they unrelease all of the Looney Tunes shorts. It's just it's petty bullshit from these people. But so I don't know how it's going to shake out. I don't know how home media is going to run for this thing. I don't know how long this run is going to be in theaters, but if you can do is all I have to say. So yeah,
nice, thumbs
up.
Excellent. And as for me, just kind of fiddling with, like I mentioned in the pre-show, Rocksmith and Xenoblade Chronicles 3. I got a couple of review things that I'll have talked about next week, but that's it. I won't get into too much. I like listening to the stuff you guys are playing. If we're talking about movies, I watched, I've been into Papal stuff lately for some reason since going to Italy over the summer, and I watched Conclave, which was fantastic. Conclave is awesome. Highly recommend Conclave. And I watched The Two Popes, which is actually pretty good. I didn't love it nearly as much as Conclave. Conclave actually had drama, whereas Two Popes was a little bit more biographical. But yeah, it's good. Good. Yeah, that's what and I watched an animated War of the Rohirrim, whatever that is.
I don't care about Lord of the Rings, but it kind of looks like
it wasn't that
aesthetically
great.
It looked good.
I don't know. I wasn't in love with
it. Trailered well.
Watching it. It trailered well. Correct. It trailered well. Beyond that, I thought, but that's it.
A brief question. You mentioned Rocksmith and that adapter. So you're playing an actual guitar for Rocksmith?
Yes, you put your actual guitar. JJ's doing the same thing. He's using an acoustic with a microphone. I'm using an electric that I bought with this adapter.
So yeah, that adapter. So my understanding with Rocksmith is that game is discontinued at this point, but you can
No.
They re-released it
there's two versions. There's two versions of it.
Okay.
So there is the
okay. So there's the old version, and then they have I thought that they had
the
subscription
version.
Yeah, no, you can go on Steam right now. They unreleased Rocksmith 2014.
Yeah.
And you can get it.
You can still buy that version. Interesting.
Yep.
So
all the DST and everything. Yeah.
That adapter, is it specifically a thing, or is it just like a MIDI to some sort of USB?
I don't know enough about adapters to know if it's a branded version.
I'll tell you right now, it is a specific one because I looked at other. I thought, this is like a $30 adapter, so it's not that expensive. But I looked at other ones online. I thought, are there other ways to do it? And everybody on every freaking Reddit page that I went on every message board, because I wanted to do my homework. They said, listen, there are some that are out there that you can plug in as a USB to the guitar, but there's so much work that you need to do to get them to even come remotely close, where they would say either get this or do the whole microphone version. And the microphone really is like, JJ, look, you just put a microphone up to your freaking guitar.
It's actually kind of surprising how well it works. I really expected it to be junk, but I was actually I was even using the in-game tuner with my
Yeah,
on my
it's nice. The
stock
tuning
tuner,
aspect is
and they were
really
the
cool.
same. So yeah,
So that just looked like a 1/4 millimeter jack or whatever that
Yeah,
thing
yeah.
normally goes into a guitar.
Yeah.
Then
And it's
I
got
a USB on the other end.
actual the actual smarts are in this.
Yeah, whatever's in that breaker box.
Yeah. So it's good. I mean, yeah, I'm learning Open E right now. So that's basically it. Go
I
back and,
can't wait until we sing Wonderwall at
yeah.
PAX East.
It's gonna be on our panel. I'm gonna be on
There you go.
Catus. I'm gonna be on Dally will be on
Catus?
rhythm. I'll be
Yeah, his guitar skills have gotten to a 7.
I will say this though,
using Ross.
so my guitar, I have it sitting over there in the case right now because I took it to the office the other day.
oh great.
They wanted to see it. People were like, "You've got to see your guitar." I work with I work in a design studio. It's all creative folks. Everybody has guitars. Everybody wants to. Whenever somebody gets a new toy, they immediately start asking about it. So I'm like, okay, fine, I'll bring it in because they kept asking me to bring it in. Brought it in, and of course, I got like this classic Chevy Bel Air, Ford Thunderbird 1960s paint job on it, which is like this cool, like a light cyan aqua blue color to it. I went specifically for that, being a car guy. But man, I've got it. For me, the biggest aspect is just getting to hold it and getting to, hold it correctly and getting my fingers to the right spot in time, because I have a big mitt, but my fingers aren't the longest. So it's like I have to really kind of claw this thing to get it, and then you get it's
I think
a little bit of work for my first few times, slowly getting there, but I want to make sure that it feels natural and doesn't feel like work.
So this is your first guitar. This is the
first time ever
you've ever owned. Okay,
I'd never touched anything outside of like a Guitar Hero or a Rock Band guitar. I mean, I take it back. I've touched guitars, never owned one, didn't know how to play, didn't know how to hold anything. And I thought, let me do this. I sold a bunch of jerseys and Legos. Sold a bunch of jerseys and Legos and said, let's do it.
I think the Note Highway does a really good job at telling you where your fingers need to do on this game.
Yeah,
it's presented in a way that really relays to you where you need to be. I'm actually
Rock music has taught me that life is a highway.
Oh, it sure is. It sure is. So, but that's it. That's today's episode, my friends. Again, thank you lovely lads for joining today.
Oh, no, I was gonna do the thumbs up, but I forgot I'm not on my phone this week, so it doesn't work. So.
Yeah, if you're on your phone, you do the thumbs up, like this whole cool animation just goes, but only on your phone, and don't know why. But we'll have more on our panel as the weeks come. We're still a month and a half away. We're only 2 weeks away from the Switch 2 reveal. That's nuts. So see you in a couple weeks. I took that day off, but in case I have to order.
He's the oldest and the most adult out of any of us, ladies.
Yeah. Nobody's gonna care or say anything if I'm gonna be on my phone ordering a Switch 2.
We were talking about 401ks in the Discord.
we were talking about how to be an adult, and I'm like, make sure you save money for your kids. And then I'm like, but also at the same time, I'm buying a Switch 2.
I'm taking the day off for a 45-minute video on the internet.
Listen, I'll be writing this the whole freaking time. So, anywho, SideQuesting.com, SideQuesting TV on YouTube and Twitch, at SideQuesting.com on Blue Sky. That's where all the cool people hang out. You can find us individually at Blue Sky, but you can also find us in the SideQuesting Discord, which is really where I spend the majority of my day. I'm in I have membership to 45 different Discords. I'm basically in the SideQuesting one and maybe the PAX East one or the a car design one. But that's it. I love
you could tell when Dally's on a break or in a meeting, because that's when he starts replying to everybody.
Yeah, true. 50 replies, and they all show up on JJ's post.
I don't get to check it often, and when I do, it's only really the last day or two worth of conversations. So I usually steamroll whatever somebody is actively talking about, so I can go back and no, I want to respond to this one that was yesterday. And the best way, if you ever want my opinion on anything,
no, we don't.
Or you want to talk about racing games, please just ping me. My understanding is there's been times where somebody's like, "Oh, I asked Sam a question, and he never got back to me." If you don't put that @ symbol, it doesn't exist to me.
Yeah, no, I always make sure to @ you when I have something specifically for you. So.
I reviewed a racing game a couple weeks ago, so
and he didn't @ you.
And he didn't even @ me. I don't even know what it is.
No, yeah, you'll see it go live tonight or tomorrow. Again, thank you, everybody.
Gally's just a better racist than you. I mean, let's be honest.
We'll see you on the next episode of the SideQuest. Thank you. See ya. Bye-bye.